Hello everyone, I'm Brian, and I'm going to explain what I learned from one single solitary game of 10th edition. So plenty of experience. One game, plenty of experience. I'm about to reveal of what I learned. So the first thing is, I mean again, it is the first game, so it took a long time reading a lot of rules and whatnot. And for the greater good, this is something I will say I play kind of slow just because I'm still learning the army, even in 10th and ninth edition, should I say. I was getting a bit faster as I learned what to target with what, especially learning the opposing army. That's the most important thing, is knowing what to take out. So the only way I learn another person's army is by actually playing against them. So everything tends to be a surprise because I can't sit here and read all the codexes and find out what is good and what is not. So this being very important to who do you guide and who do you target with. And the reason why I say who do you guide with and who's the guided unit and who's the observer unit is because there is another unit in the Tau Empire that actually can benefit you. So give me 1 second. Okay, so stealth battle suits are very good. Because of this, forward observers. Each time this unit is an observer unit, until the end of the phase, each time a range attack is made by a model in their guided unit that targets their spotted unit, reroll a wound roll of 1. So, I will say this. I went up against the Necrons. I shot the Nightbringer with my Hammerhead, the rail rifle. Not rail rifle, sorry, the rail gun. And, yeah, invul saves. So that sucks. You get one shot with it, so you have to make it count. So the stealth suits could be a very good spotter or observer unit for any hard-hitting guns. The reason why being is because at least with the Hammerhead, let me see if I can find it here. Hammerhead, that's... Oh, we can look at Long Strike. But anyways, here. So this will allow you the reroll of a rune roll of 1. And a Hammerhead has targeting rate. Each time this model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll or you can reroll 1 wound roll when resolving its attacks. So the stealth team can give you a little bit of a buffer, considering that it's a strength 20 attack. You have a chance of giving away your hit roll just in case you fluffed on the first one, so you get the reroll on that one. And being this strength 20, most things should be wounding on a 2+. So at the very least, you will get, in a sense, a reroll from your stealth team because you will be wounding most things on a 2+. And should you happen to roll a 1, you'll get a free reroll because of this ability. So I'm not saying this is perfect for Hammerheads. This is great for great for any hard-hitting weapons that they guide. So there's a benefit for stealth suits in terms of rerolling wound rolls of 1, and there's a benefit for Pathfinders because you can spot with 2 of their units. They can spot 2 units for you. So where are the Pathfinders team? Right here they are. Target upload once per turn using the greater good ability. You can select this unit as an observer unit for a second time. So be mindful. I did run 2 Pathfinder teams fully equipped. 3 rail rifles. I forgot to give a grenade launcher just because I could, and the fact that it doesn't remove your it does not remove your carbine. So you have the carbine and the grenade launcher, I believe. I didn't equip it though, and I gave them also the grab inhibitor drone, and that's about it, I believe. Alright, here. You can compete with one of the following: grab inhibitor drone, pulse accelerator drone, or recon drone. I set them up in deployment. They were going to be my spotters for any unit that I needed. The sheer fact that I had 2 of these guys, so that means that's 4 units guaranteed to get for the greater good. I also had 2 of these guys because I put my crisis team in deep strike, but I didn't get a chance. Actually, I did deep strike them, not turn 1, but in turn 2. But anyways, I didn't use their ability, so I used them for rerolling wounds for 1 for my Hammerheads or my Ghostkeel, which I did in fact run. It's nice to leave them out in the open and cannot be hit. So let me tell you, I guess, what my army consisted of. We'll start from the top here. It contained a Shadowsun. The reason why I wanted Shadowsun was because she gave an aura of reroll hits rolls of 1. So what I had around her was 2 Ghostkeels out in the open along with her, and a Hammerhead. And I should have actually, what I realized, I should have probably put a little bit more units around her and maybe positioned her a little bit better. Because technically, she essentially provided, she couldn't shoot anything because the longest range is 24 or 18. So she was essentially just a free spotter. Also, she gave out the rerolls of 1, which is really great. With heavy weapons, generally speaking, you'll be rerolling all your hits, because you're either going to hit or you're rerolling. Because with a heavy weapon, if you don't move, your ballistics is 4, when you're guided it's 3, and then with a heavy weapon, if you didn't move, you get +1, so that's a 2, and with her ability, you're rerolling ones. So it's great for a 3-man squad of broadsides, or, well, yeah, that's about it. Broadsides and hammerheads are going to be hitting on 2s, essentially. Now it's great for, of course, crisis teams. Although there's no way for you to hit on a 2+ because there's no heavy weapons. Your best bet's to hitting on 3+. If you roll any 2s, you can't reroll those, but at least you can reroll 1s. So I ran her and kept her around my Ghostkeels, which has the cyclonic ion rakers, I believe it is, and a single hammerhead. I had another hammerhead on the other side, which was long strike. I didn't need him close by because he was hitting pretty good anyway. I also had a commander in crisis battle suit because I wanted, because he was going to be deployed with my crisis suit team, which will be deep striking in enemy territory. So I need that rerolls of hit rolls of 1 as well. He was equipped with 3 plasmas, shield generator, and 2 gun drones. And I did not have any more crisis commander, so I didn't have an enforcer, I didn't have a cold star. I did have a cadre on one of my Fire Wars teams, just because you give an extra attack characteristics to the weapons, and plus he also has AP3 for roll a 6 to wound. I did have an ethereal and cadre with one Fire War team, so the Fire War team was pretty buff. It gets feel no pain, and on a roll of 4+, you get 1 CP. What else did I have? Long strike, just because I need to fill out points. I will probably never run long strike. He costs 25 points more than a regular hammerhead, and the 3+ ballistic skills is okay. Especially, it's actually really good if it's between 1 to 5 wounds, only because he'll still be hitting on a 2+. And generally speaking, because if he'll be ballistic skill 3, then guide will be 2, -1 will be 3, but if you stay stationary, it's a heavy weapon, you're going back down to 2, or if you're hitting a monster or vehicle, this will negate this, essentially, if you're hitting a monster or vehicle enemy. But this really lethal hits on an ion rifle. I'm sorry, on a railgun. You don't want that. It has devastating wounds. You want to get those devastating wounds, so this is completely useless for 25 points. The only thing you're paying for 25 points is just a ballistic skill 3 on your primary weapon. You're not getting that on your secondary weapons. Your twin smart missile system is hitting on the 4s, pulse carbine on 4s, your secret missiles on 4s, your burst cannons on 4s. So yeah, you're paying 25 points more for just a +1 to your ballistic skills. Everything else in terms of stats is the same. So I did run 2 strike teams because I used them for guided as well. One strike team obviously had the ethereal and the cadre, and with no AP and range 30, it wasn't great against Necrons. Again, I am facing against Necrons for a whole bunch of revives. It was crazy. I ran them with, I think with my cadre, I ran with a double gun drone, the ethereal with double gun drone, and this guy with double gun drone. I just wanted firepower. But all this firepower with no AP though. And good lord. Even though I denied a lot of cover, he was still making a lot of his saves. Some of his bigger units had feel no pains. It was rolling. He was rolling pretty good, and I was not. So that kind of hurt me a bit. I didn't run breacher teams, although that whew, you can make that AP2 actually. But yeah, I didn't run breacher teams. I didn't run Crude Carnivores or Crude Tox. I'm not running any Crude, sadly enough. So I did run one squad of Crisis battle suits, a full 6-man squad. All of them were equipped roughly the same. So in terms of weapons, they had 3 plasmas apiece and a shield generator. And let's see, there's 6 of them. So 2 of the 6 had 2 shield generators. I'm sorry, 2 shield drones. And everyone else, the other 4, had 2 gun drones. Again, firepower. These guys were deep striking in the back and just blowing stuff up. And the reason why I equipped 2 of the 6 crisis suits with shield drones was they're the ones that's going to take the initial hit. They're going to be the toughest, and they need to score, let's see, 6 to knock out 1 or 12 to knock out 2. After those 2, then they're going on regular crisis suits with gun drones. I'm hoping by that time that I eliminate most of the threat, and the gun drones are there to help. Again, just volumes of fire with the gun drones for, like, horde armies, and plasmas for big things. But yeah, so 4 crisis suits with 2 gun drones apiece, and 2 crisis suits with 2 shield drones apiece. Again, the 2 shield drone crisis suits are the meat, or the ones that are going to take the hits first, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, these guys, I ran 2 of them. Again, I mostly use them for the Fort Observer, and that plus that reroll, a wound roll of 1 is great. We don't have a lot of rerolls, or if any at all, besides the Shadowsun. Reroll of 1 if you use them to guide. That's essentially it. You might as well give them a battle support system. I ran 2 Ghostkeels. I ran them with the Cyclonic Ion Raker, and I overcharged every time and didn't roll a 1, which was fantastic. So I got a chance to do as much damage as possible with it. The stealth drones came in handy. They got into melee, sadly enough, with a really good melee unit. One got demolished. The other one escaped with his life, and amazingly, the opponent failed to charge them back. Yeah, infiltrators, lone operatives, stealth. I did not infiltrate them. I kept them in the back because they had long enough range, 36 inches, and lone operatives, so they had to come to him to shoot them. I don't have Farsight. I had, again, 2 Pathfinders teams because of that. They were fully decked out with 3 rail rifles each. They had the Grav Inhibitor drone. What else did they have? I didn't actually even give them any gun drones because I didn't think about it. But anyways, they kind of did their job, but they don't really provide any kind of benefit in terms of aside from the greater good. But their ability is just do 2 targets. It's still not too bad because you have 1 Pathfinder that spots for 2 units. That's really good. But also, mind you, the stealth suits you can spot with 1, but you get the reroll wound rolls of 1, which is pretty good as well. Let's see, I don't have Piranhas or Vesphids or these guys. I have broadsides, but I didn't run broadsides. I want to kind of experiment with them with Shadowsun, because again, heavy rail rifle is a heavy weapon. If their ballistic skill's 4, if you guide them, their ballistic skill 3, and then because it's a heavy, it's a +1 hit, so they're hitting on 2+. With 2 attacks, damage kind of sucks because it's a d6 +1. The reason why I say it sucks is because the regular rail rifle deals a flat 3 damage. This one, you can roll a 1 on that d6 and deal 2 damage, which is less than the rail rifle. But then again, you do have 2 attacks at 60 inch range as opposed to 30. I probably would go with the smart missile system, maybe. Indirect fire, twin link, just because I want to keep them in the far back, and then I need the secondary long range weapon, and 30 is pretty good. I guess I can give him a seeker missile. Let's see, shield drone, missile drone, missile drone. Yeah, probably missile drone. So 2 missile drones. Weapon support. Each time the Baron makes a range attack, you ignore any or all hit modifiers to hit roll. I don't know how that would help. Neither one of these. I mean, if your broadsides in melee combat, oh my gosh, that's not a good thing because they're not meant to be in melee. But yes, probably go. They can have two of them, so I'll probably go with I don't know. I have to think about that one. Definitely a missiles though. Missile or plasma, even though it's 6 inch shorter. I'm trying to keep them away from me. I have Riptides, but I didn't run in Riptides just because Riptides can't really destroy vehicles. They're a huge vehicle and they can't destroy vehicles. I did run two Hammerheads, a regular Hammerhead and a Long Strike Hammerhead, and they did okay. I think the thing I need to learn a little bit more is target priorities with Hammerheads, and but yeah, I don't know if running two Hammerheads is good or bad because in this Necron army there was really no vehicles nor monster creature besides the Nightbringer and maybe one or two others, but other than that, having a single shot does not really help against a kind of a resurrecting army. One shot, one dead, bring him back. I did run twin smart missile systems just because, again, I need that range. I didn't equip them with any kind of secret missiles. I should, though, and I will next time. So again, lessons learned here. Didn't run Devilfish, none of these. Nope, nope. I want to run this one, but nope. Yeah, nope. And gun drones completely useless, and didn't run any of that. So the thing that I learned is whenever I deep strike my crisis suits in the back of an enemy deployment zone, I mean, it's our first time playing. He forgot to move his Nightbringer, but I allowed him to move it anyway, just because if I can put myself in the worst possible position and still win, that means I'm doing something right. But also at the same time, we were learning, so you know, we tend to be very lenient on certain things. But I wanted him to move his Nightbringer anyway, so I could Overwatch with Crisis Suits. Again, only hitting on 6s though, re-rolling 1s because the Crisis Commander's there. And all the freaking, how many plasma shots there was? Is 7 times 3, so it's 21 plasma shots. And by the way, the Crisis Commander did have the Exemplar of the Kanyao, so there were exploding 6s, which essentially if I hit, it's going to explode. And also the drones. I think I may have scored maybe 1 or 2, let's see, maybe 3 to 4 wounds on Nightbringer before he closed the gap. And I didn't have battlesuit support system or weapon support system, so I can't run away unless I give up the ability to shoot. And shooting in close quarters, well, I get -1 to hit. So battlesuit support system allows me to fall back and shoot. Weapon support system allows me to shoot in close quarters without hit modifiers. The problem is the crisis suits are considered to be vehicles, so they can be shot at while in close quarters. That is not a good thing. So lesson learned here. I'm definitely going to equip them probably with a battlesuit system or a weapon support system. I think battlesuit system is better just because you can fall back and shoot. You can position yourself better and shoot at the enemy as opposed to staying in close quarters all the time. Also, I'm not just going to run one crisis suit. I'm going to actually run 2 crisis suit, one for range that's going to stay with Shadowsun, and one that's going to deep strike in the back. So the one that's going to stay with Shadowsun, I think, is going to be all my plasma guns, and they'll be equipped with, I think, an enforcer to reduce AP. They'll be staying in kind of the terrain in a sense. It's kind of odd about terrain features and vehicles because they're crisis suits. So long as they're wholly within a terrain, they can shoot through it. Because technically vehicles can go in the terrain and actually get cover. So the lesson learned here is The crisis suit that's going to be deep striking in the back of enemy lines is going to have the battle support system. I'm going to try to run them with cyclonic ion blasters, which was my favorite weapon in 9th edition. I would overcharge the crap out of those things, but I'd always get essentially full rerolls to hit, and sometimes full rerolls to wound because of the ethereal, and plus I had feel no pain, so that even if I do cause a mortal wound to me, I could feel no pain and give that to a drone, which was stupid. So Deep Strike will have cyclonic blasters. I more than likely will not be overcharging them. It's just the sheer fact that cyclonic blasters are just better than burst cannons. Why? You get one less. You got the same range, one less attack, same ballistics, stronger attack. So you're more than likely guaranteed to wound on 3+. 1 AP and the same 1 damage. If desperate times calls for desperate measures, then you can try to blow yourself up with a strength 8 AP 2 damage 2 shot. I'll run 3 of these, I think. They'll all run shield drones, I believe. I know I said in the last video shield drones are useless, and they can be, but I learned that, you know, maybe they're not that bad. Maybe I changed my mind on shield drones. Giving +2 to wounds is okay, especially if you have, especially with the amount of damage that's being dealt. It seems like they kind of reduce the killing power a little bit, but still. So shield drones, all of them shield drones. I think maybe with an enforcer with them as well to reduce the AP so that they can survive longer. I mean, you know, with the shield drones and them staying in cover and reducing the AP, I get +1 to save and -1 to their AP, allows me to run them without shield generators and run them with the battlesuit support system along with 3 guns. I'm gonna test that out next time I fight just to see what it is. I really wanted to run maybe with Crisis Commander, either with the plasma crisis suit. But if I'm going to keep them back, I already have Shadowsun there, so maybe reducing AP with that, I'm not sure. Still thinking about that one. Either Enforcer or Crisis Suit. If I run Crisis Suit, I suppose I can keep them separate from Shadowsun, and Shadowsun can give her rerolls of hit rolls of 1 to other units that maybe have to be further away due to terrains and how many models you can fit behind a single terrain piece. So maybe I'll run them with the Crisis Suit, with a Crisis Commander with the Plasmas, and then an Enforcer with the Cyclonic that's going to be deep striking. The reason why for the Enforcer is to, if there's any AP weapons out there, to keep their survivability up while having each Crisis Suit having 12 shots apiece. I don't get any rerolls with them, but I increase their survivability and they're hitting on 3+. And maybe if I guide them with a stealth suit, they're rerolling 1s to wound. That'll be fantastic if you overcharge, but you're on the risk of blowing yourself up. So for my next build as well, I guess I'll go ahead and explain what my next build is going to be. Okay, so my next build is going to have Shadowsun, because I want her rerolls once, and it's an aura ability, so it's great. She's 100 and Shadowsun 140 points for rerolls. Not too bad. I mean, whenever it becomes later on in the game, obviously she'll start using that fusion blaster of hers, or high energy fusion blaster. I'll run 1 of her. I'll run a Crisis battle suit and an Enforcer battle suit, or maybe 2 Enforcers. I'm not too sure yet. I think 1 Crisis and 1 Enforcer. Then I will not have a Cold Star because I don't think maneuverability right now is lacking. I push my way forward and eliminate enemies on the way. I don't have a Cadre Fireblade. I do have an Ethereal because I think getting that extra CP is completely worth it. Let's see. I have 1 strike team. We can go to the strike team here. And the reason for the strike team is for the ethereal, so they're kind of a bodyguard as well, and they get feel no pain, and also for capturing objectives and providing an extra, what do you say, an extra for the greater good, but as well as the fact that they may have a nice fire overwatch in the 4 plus, but with no AP, it's maybe it's nice. And something we discussed in the group is if they have gun drones, when this unit is within range of an objective marker you control, each time you select it as the target of a fire overwatch stratagem, hits are scored on unmodified rolls of 4 plus when resolving that stratagem. Gun drones are hitting on 4 plus. So, I mean, you know, you're only getting 2 at most if you get 2 gun drones, but hey, look, gun drones hitting on 2 plus. I have 2 squads of crisis teams. Let's see, crisis, where you're at. And so, you know, one squad is going to have 3 plasmas, and the other squad's going to have 3 cyclonic. So, I'm thinking about the cyclonic, the one that's going to be deep striking, is going to have this just in case they get into close quarters so that they can back out. I think they're all going to be equipped with 2 shield drones and an enforcer just to keep them alive, or the crisis suit commander so I can get rerolls of 1 to hit. That needs to be a killing team because they're out in the forefront. And then the plasmas they're going to be deployed on the field with either Shadowsun or a crisis commander so they get rerolls of 1. And they need to stay there against pushing armies, and they themselves push as well. I'm also running 2 pathfinders. Well, actually, let's look at 2 stealth suits. Sorry, they're all equipped roughly the same: marker drone, 1 shield drone, and one of them has a battle suit support system. I think that's about it. You should only have 1. And I'm not running fusion blasters, just too short of a range. They're mostly there for support or holding objectives. And the homing beacon, you know, you just get it. You know, who knows who can equip that. Then I am running. I took out the Ghostkeel, even though they were really nice. But for 70 points, Ghostkeel, 170 points. I would rather have. I think the 3-man battle suit is more deadly than a Ghostkeel for almost the same points cost. So that's what I did. I traded 2 Ghostkeels for a 6-man crisis suit, which I think will be worth it. I can be more offensive with it because the Ghostkeel just does not have enough firepower. So Pathfinders, I'm running 2 of these guys. Again, they're fully equipped out. They have grab inhibitor drone, 3 rail rifles, and 2 shield drones just because, both equipped the same. Then I have 2 hammerheads. And the reason why for 2 hammerheads is just because, just in case they have a tank I need to blow up, because nothing else in my army can technically blow up tanks. The rail rifles potentially because they're strength 10, but they're in the Pathfinders team, and you know, I don't want to depend on them as my tank killers. Whew. But yeah, that is the new army that I have created, and I'm gonna run with just to see how that runs. So again, Commander Shadowsun, Crisis Battlesuit, Crisis Commander, Enforcer Commander, or maybe 2 Enforcers or 2 Crisis. I'm not too sure yet. An Ethereal for sure, a Strike team for sure, 2 Crisis team with 3 Plasmas, and the other Crisis team with 3 Cyclonic for the Deep Strike. We're going to have 2 Stealth teams, minimum squad by the way, for the Stealth teams. I just need them for their marker light and or for that rerolls of 1s to wound. 2 Pathfinders fully decked out, and 2 Hammerheads are going to be fully decked out as well. So I'll have my report in after. I'm probably going to have a few more battles. This is just the first initial 1 game in 10th edition, the things that I've learned. I rolled really bad. I took my first time coming into round 1, whenever Necrons had the first go, and they moved up. I had my go. It took my entire team, besides my Crisis suit and Crisis Commander, entire shooting to destroy 1 unit of Necron warriors, because after I got about half of them dead, They had sometimes they had saves because they were in cover, but most of the time they didn't. But I think they had a feel no pain of 5 plus, and then he did a stratagem which brought back 3d6, 3d3 plus 1 warriors. I'm like, what? And then I had to, so essentially he got every one of them back but one, and then it's a 20-man blob, and I had to then, luckily enough, I had enough shooting to wipe them all out, and one of the characters that was attached to it. But he rezzed the character back with another stratagem that you can only do once per character. It was really crazy. He was resurrecting everything back. But after that, it kind of fell apart towards the end because this Nightbringer tied up my Crisis Commander and Crisis Suits and close combat, and I couldn't retreat, and I was -1 to hit, and I could not support them because they're so far out. And then on my side of the field, he luckily enough, he needed a 12 to charge, and he got a 12, which ruined my day. He charged my Pathfinders, which was really close to my home, and he wrecked them, obviously, because it was a melee unit. And then charged into my Ghostkeels. I got Shadowsun to retreat back. By that point, the Nightbringer, I was very difficult to shoot in close quarters because it was -1 to hit, sort of hitting on 5s because they're ballistic skill 4. They're not being guided, so they're hitting on 5s and wounding on 5s because the Nightbringer's toughness is 11. So yeah, it was not a good time, and rerolling once to hit, but still, yeah, the plasma shots were not doing their job like they used to. You definitely need anti-tank guns against big monsters, and I mean, I guess broadsides are just too expensive to bring. A hammerhead, which is one of the really good guys, strength 20. Damage d6 plus 6 and devastating wounds were 145 points. But then you look at and its toughness. What's the toughness of the sorry, not the battle suit, but the hammerhead. Was it 10? Toughness 10, yes. So you have a toughness 10 with 14 wounds for 145 points, or toughness 6 with 8 wounds for 110 points versus what did it called again? Well, how can I not remember? Broadside, yes, broadside. There, 110 points a piece for. So they're 35 points cheaper, but they have 4 less toughness and what is that? 6 less wounds. And the strength of their shot is 12, which isn't too bad, honestly. You're wounding even with a strength 20. I can't wound the Nightbringer on a 2+. It's on a 3+. And a strength 12 and a strength 20 is wounding on a 3+ on a Nightbringer. But the benefit of the Hammerhead's the fact that on a wound roll of 6, I could bypass the invuls. But the problem is that I guess we learned, if that is correct, is that it halves the damage stat. So before it gets converted to mortal wounds, whatever the damage is cut in half, and that's how many mortal wounds the Nightbringer gets. So d6 plus 6, I rolled a frickin' 2. Every time there's a die roll in a railgun, I always roll the lowest and sometimes the medium. But yes. So that's the lesson learned. What else do I have? I guess that's all I have to say, but I will say I kind of do want to test out broadsides, but they're just so expensive, and they don't provide enough firepower. Cause I think what is it? The Crisis Suit are 65 points each, and you can deck them out with whatever you want. 3 plasmas if you want. And these guys, so 65 points, you can almost run 2 Crisis for the cost of 1 broadside. So that's 6 plasmas with a 4-up invul. And this guy, for 110 points, has no invul, only a 2+ save, and 1 more toughness, And if you equip the guys with, oh, I guess he can be equipped with 2 shield drones, so, and 2 more wounds. No, 4 more wounds actually, double the wounds. Well, actually, with 2 crisis suits, that's 8 wounds as well. So only one more toughness, but no invuls. Yeah, the broadside is way too overpriced. It barely moves as well with 5 inches. So yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say about my first time playing 10th edition with Tau. It's still a lot to learn, so this is just an initial take on it to see what I could improve and how I ran against the Necrons. I did end up losing that match. The Necrons were just scoring like crazy. Um, I was rolling, I was rolling well below average. I was rolling below average, and I think my opponent was rolling slightly above average. And with his ability to just raise back his people and heal the Nightbringer, just wasn't exactly helping me at all. So I think from that first game I learned quite a bit. I'm gonna test out 2 crisis teams with Shadowsun again. I like Shadowsun. She's been nerfed to crap, but anyways. So nice if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.